So the other day, Cyberpunk 2077 released an update that included DLSS 3.0, and we're going to test that with the 4070 Ti and see what kind of performance we'll get. The DLSS 3.0 only works with the 40 series GPU, so the 4070 Ti, 4080, 4090, because it's only compatible with the new generation of tensor cores in those cards. Who knows if they'll eventually make it backwards compatible to be able to use 30 series, 20 series. Who knows at this point in time. Anyways, what is going on is really with DLSS frame generation, AI is used to predict what the frame is going to be, and then that is then inserted into your gameplay to give you better FPS and to smooth out your game and kind of take some of the load off of the GPU. Yeah, so on DLSS super resolution, what is happening typically is 4K, which we're looking at right now, is it will generate a frame using 1440p, a lower resolution, then AI upscales that frame to 4K. So again, it just adds another layer. It just takes some of the burden off the GPU so that you can generate more frames and have a higher frame rate with the smoother gameplay. Where this really comes into play is when you're ray tracing. Ray tracing taxes the GPU a lot. Even with the new 4070 Ti, in some games you see a pretty drastic drop in FPS, and then by turning on DLSS frame generation and DLSS super resolution, it helps boost those frame rates. So you get the added bonus of using ray tracing, but also get a playable experience by having a higher FPS. So let's get in here and try it out. We're going to start off with native resolution. We're not going to turn on any of the DLSS. Everything's going to be set to the ultra preset, and ray tracing should be off. Excellent. Let's restart MSI. So this is my second attempt to record this video. I've been getting some weird results just because I'd go into native, then to DLSS, then ray tracing, back to native, and things were just going all over and not what you would reasonably expect it to be. So let's try it again. We're going to start off with native, DLSS off, ray tracing off, and see what we get. So this is in the ballpark of what I was seeing the other day when I was playing the game before DLSS 3 came out. With that update, seeing 29 average, 24, 1% low. Okay, so that's what I was expecting. Ish. A little lower than what I had the other day, but still not too bad. It's when we go to ray tracing, that's when this thing really shits the bed. So let's go to ray tracing. Actually, no. Before we go there, we're gonna turn. We got two different DLSSs. We'll just turn the frame generation on first, see what we get there, and then we'll turn on the super resolution. So you just saw that. I turned on the frame generation, turned off super resolution, hit apply, and then super resolution goes and turns itself back on. So turn it off again, hit apply, and it's off now. Great. And we're back. Okay, so just with frame generation on, we went from 29-ish FPS now up to 48. So we picked up like 20 FPS. Okay, so that's not too bad. That would be what? A 66% increase. That's probably a little misleading. Okay, yeah, it's starting to dip now a little bit to 45. Still not too bad. We're in the 40s. Let's take a look at what happens then when we just turn on the super resolution as well. Get a nice look right away there. So I'm going to go with quality and sharpness on 1. Okay. And because of that, we picked up another 15 to 20 FPS. So now we're sitting at over double native. Yeah, just looking at the everything going by, everything seems pretty good from a resolution standpoint. Actually, having like a couple of stills side by side would actually tell you how well the resolution upscaling is working. But just from eyeballing it, everything looks pretty good. The one thing I noticed when I was playing earlier, though, there was a lot of distortion in some things. There were what do you call it there? The bridges has columns over top, and you can see artifacting happening on those columns. So it'll be interesting if we get near those bridges with those columns again, and if they'll be doing the same thing. It was happening native DLSS ray tracing on. Everything was causing it to look weird. Thing is, though, I don't. Anyway, this is what we're seeing with DLSS on. Let's try ray tracing. Ray tracing native. Once I did ray tracing native, everything just went downhill from there. So let's start off with ray tracing DLSS, and then we'll work our way down because it caused the game to crash earlier on me. So see if it does the same. So this is all the ray tracing. These are all maxed. So go. Well, there you go. So turning DLSS on, image sharpening, and super resolution, all that stuff. Then turning ray tracing on. There's a little bit of an impact. So we went from 66ish, and we're seeing a dip down to 58. So we're, starting with the essentially the lowest settings by having all of DLSS on. It's still working, but as we go down, you're going to see that things start to, they're not as smooth. Like right now, it's pretty smooth with the dips. I'll turn MSI average and 1% low on when we start getting lower here, because you're going to see a lot of frame time spikes that are going to cause the 1% lows to drop like a rock. I think we're good. Oh, wait. Here's where I was seeing the artifacting on the columns, and right now, not happening. I haven't noticed it. Maybe a restart helped fix things. Yeah, no, I don't see any of the artifacting going on here. Another thing to note, the 4070 Ti is staying fairly cool. The fan seems to be cranking up to maybe 67, 70%, and the temperature is mid 50s. So temperatures are still good. Yeah, again, listening to it, it's no louder than my system fans. I can't notice anything over top of it. All right. So we have that. So let's scale it back a bit. We're going to go down to, so the only way I found to get the performance that that NVIDIA was claiming is to put the super resolution on auto and then dial back sharpness down to 0.5 because they were talking about getting triple the performance. So turning that down and then turning ray trace lighting down. There's probably other things you can play around with it, but this is essentially how you can keep the max settings and still get the performance that they were talking about. It would have been nice. At least I didn't see anywhere where they actually disclosed what settings they had it on to get that triple performance between native and DLSS. Let's see. Yeah, so here we jumped up to the 90s, and that's about triple what native had. But again, native was sitting with no ray tracing on, and everything else was turned off for DLSS. So turning DLSS on, going to auto, turning the sharpening down, and turning the I think it was light. Can't remember the name of what the ray tracing item was that I turned down, but turning that off, and you get 95 FPS. And for a game like this, and the average being 95, I'd be more concerned about the 1% lows. So getting a better quality image while maintaining roughly a 60 average FPS with the 1% lows above 30, I'd be more content playing at that resolution or with those settings than having DLSS on. Oh, great. Oh, wow. There we go. That was fantastic. All right, well, we're going to skip ahead to me being back up on bridge. All right, now we're back on the bridge, and let's go ahead and I think, well, kind of avoid crashing. I'm going to just leave ray tracing on, turn all these other ones off. Let's see here. What are we going to get for performance? Just that way. Doesn't seem to affect it too much with DLSS on. So I'm going to go in and turn the super resolution off. Let's just leave frame generation on. Here's where it's going to be interesting. Will that everything started again? All right, so looking at it here, getting 43. Okay, so it's 1% low. So they're not dipping down. The 0.1% is getting pretty low, but the 1% low is staying at around 28. Okay, we're still maintaining it, driving all over bridge, more traffic. Seeing the artifacting now on the bridge. Yeah, a little bit there. There you can kind of see it happening here and there. I'm hesitant to do it, but let's go ahead and turn ray tracing up a little bit more, and you'll notice that the performance is going to go down probably quite a bit. So let's turn all of these on. So we went from mid 40-ish on the average FPS to, let's see what happens. Yeah, it's taking forever just to, okay. it's gonna pick up any, because this is even worse than, well, like you saw before, native with ray tracing on. This is just a nightmare. I'm not sure if it just has anything to do with the AI part of the DLSS 3.0, but yeah, this is unplayable. That's why I want to start with the lowest settings for ray tracing and work my way up. And yeah, this is just a nightmare.